Well, good morning, everyone. Hope you're not freezing too much and that you're not blocked in by tons of snow. It's been crazy here, but the roads look pretty good from my window anyways. You can see that they must have been taking care of them throughout the evening. Let me fix this. Let's see, why is that not changing? I don't want that to be like that. That's kind of weird. Let's see here. I did it like this. There we go. I guess whenever I'm filming it, because I always film it as a backup, and sometimes what happens, that comes on and I can't get it off, so. Okay, so I guess we can get started. We're going to finish our little Valentine's Day painting today. Hopefully we can stay warm and cozy. I think my Sally is with me in the studio today. I don't have a light on this. Let me see. If I turn this on, what will happen? It kind of gets a little bit brighter. I'm going to turn that a little bit away from, I don't want it too far away, but just to give me a little light to see. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I think I'm going to do a wash here. Kind of blur this out a little bit. See if I can blur it some. I'm going to use my Payne's Gray. And maybe just a little bit of white in that. And then I'm going to like do a glaze with this. So I have my Grumbacher acrylic retarder that I'm going to use to thin this out. I don't know if it'll help, but it'll kind of thin it down and give me a little bit of a working surface like to work with this and blur it a bit. Here's my Payne's Gray, which is the Academy Acrylic Payne's Gray. And I'm going to put that down here just so I can get to it. You can't see it in the video here. So I really have to get that down. There we go. Payne's Gray right there. And I am going to use some of this liquid acrylic, which is a Master's Touch, only because it's a little bit lighter. I just pulled that off. Didn't know my strength. And, ooh, just put it over here. Probably need a little bit more of that, so got that out of there. So it looks like Hobby Lobby's not going to be offering coupons anymore. It's kind of upsetting. I don't know. They'll probably lose a lot of customers from that, I would think. When you have something like that, then you take it away. I know that this pandemic has created quite a mess for a lot of people, but that might just hurt them a little bit more. I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to grab some of this, put it over here, grab some of this, because I still need some that is just regular. Grab some of this, push it over there. glaze it. Grab some of it to go over here a little bit. And I still might have to thin that out a little bit more. Because I just, like I said, I just want to glaze it. I could add a little water to it, because that'll help with this. Just a tad of water. Keep it from drying out too much. Should do. I'm going to use my large. Ooh, kind of got stiff inside there. I may have to fix that eventually. Let me just go with this lighter one first and see here if I can just glaze over this. Grab some of that dark, because the dark is really, I do want to keep that kind of dark, so I do have to get a piece of this. Okay, we don't have anybody here yet. I did announce it, but sometimes, you know, that's just not enough. Okay, we're going to have to get that darker, much darker. Sally, what's going on? Can't you find a nice spot? Can't you find a nice spot, Sal? Hmm? Okay, I'm going to wait till that dries now because it is mixing up with my lighter gray, and I do definitely need that to be dark. So we're going to go over here. It's very dark here. And right in here, it's definitely darker also. That little corner. That little corner is dark. Then it gets a little lighter. We'll go into the light. Kind of, there's like some yellowish shades, so I want to make sure that I get this in here. It's kind of a U shape. Goes down. Kind of blends into this here. Kind of works its way up here to the it's just a little bit of a glaze, and that's just what I'm looking for right now. Just a glaze. Okay, I'm going to get that turquoise out. That's the deep turquoise Galleria. And I'm going to put that in that one spot there where I made the U. So we're going to get that. Now I'm just going to wipe my brush. I'm not going to switch it out or anything. I just want to use that as it is. And you know what I'm going to do? Put more of that glaze out. My glaze. Here it is. That's, like I said, that's that Grumbacher glaze. This is kind of a retarder also. It just kind of like helps your paint not to dry so fast so you can work with it. And that's what I want to do, is just work with it. Plus it provides kind of like a glazing effect here. And because this is kind of like blurred out, and we want that blurriness, it's through here where that gray is coming through, but we're going to work it into that gray a little bit. And get that gray a little bit more. Maybe some of that lighter. Pick up some of that glaze on my brush here. It's glazing over, kind of just making it look a little bit hazy. And keeping some of that colors that are in here. We don't want to lose them. Just keeping it nice and smooth. I brought coffee into the studio today, so I'm going to have a little bit more of my coffee in my little penguin cup that my sweet little grandson made. It is so good, that coffee. Tastes good in the morning, that's for sure. Getting a little bit darker here. Like I said, because this is a glaze, we're just going to kind of get this a little darker here. Kind of blend it in with that. I'm going to get a little bit more of that blue now. Wiping off my brush, kind of getting more of that blue. Let that dry smidge. But before I do let it dry some, I'm going to put a little heavier coat here. Because I want that to blend with that green. And there's a little bit more of this bluish shade right in through here. Now, what's happening here is it's got some yellowish gray, so I'm going to mix a little something here for that. We're going to come back here to this. Give me gray a little bit more of that gray that I have. Let this dry a bit. Like I said, get some gray in through here. But it is kind of like a yellow gray that comes off of here. And I think we can get that. Not a problem. Because I blew on my brush, I'm going to rinse that out now, and I'm going to go with that dark gray, straight out, Payne's gray. Right here. Okay, so there is something here, like really kind of blends with that. Usually things dry a little bit darker, so that dried pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to go into that light gray again. Kind of just blend that out a little. Maybe get some glazing liquid on my brush. And we'll start to get some of that. Now, I don't know. I always like to start with my background, probably just to make sure that it is. Sometimes, you know, sometimes I don't, but this type of picture, I guess I kind of want to get that background in. And there's some of this here, kind of blends with that. Kind of goes over that, even in here a little bit. Very light in here, very light. It's almost white, so I may have to get that a little lighter. This has more of a grayness to it, so I'm gonna go with that. And I'm looking at a picture that's completed from this. I got this picture on Pixabay, so you know that that's where to look for it. But I'm going to include this in the Patreon. I always include my backup. Well, my backup, like this here part that I'm doing now. When I do that posterization, I like to include my backup for it. Okay, I'm going to get that yellow. I have this yellowish color in a pod here. So what I'm going to do, just going to mix this a little bit with a brush here. I don't know, it's got some gray. It's got, I think it's just what I need. Add a little bit of this Payne's gray in here. Oops. Did I knock it out of whack here? No. I've got a nice yellow. And I'm going to grab this, put some of that in there. So this is what it looks, kind of like a grayish yellow. Ah, that's nice. Nice going. Alright, so I'm going to put, and it has a little bit of a peachy look too. So I'm going to put a tad of orange in there. And while this is, let's see, just a little bit of orange. Wipe my palette knife off so I can mix this in there. Kind of a warmth that's going on. Okay, so let's get some of this glazing liquid in there. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a miserable day, week here. Very cold, weather-wise. Plus, it snowed quite a bit. We didn't get as much snow as up north, but it's still, to me, is a lot, you know. And I'm starting to feel a little bit better working. I'm not as sore. You know, it took a while to, I'm going to add a little bit more orange to this, to actually not feel too bad. I mean, I came home yesterday, I was sore. Don't get me wrong, I was sore. but a lot less. I recovered a little bit quicker this time. Drinking my coffee. But I was up quite a bit last night. I went and changed my playlists around a little bit, and it turns out I think that people did not quite finish from their last week's playlist partners. That was me, and I kind of messed them up probably. I sort of messed them up. Yeah, I was up late last night. I wanted to get that done. Okay, so some of this is going to come through, and we're going to probably have to use another coat of a glaze, you know, because we need that. And then I got to put white in here, so that kind of makes it a little bit. But these glazes, like I said, they're going to just be one coat for now, and then we add more. We add more to it. You want these little things that we did last week to show through. It's kind of nice right in here. It's bright and nice. Then it's going to blend in with this this gray here. So gonna have to get some of that gray. Okay, that's a little darker, that gray, so let's get some darker gray in here. Well, we are probably gonna have to glaze it out. This requires a lot of blending today. We're going to be blending quite a bit. All fun though. It's going to be beautiful once it's done. It'll look very nice. Okay, so I have a little bit too light of a color on my brush. And we've got to get that a little bit darker. So what I'm going to go into my turquoise right now. Kind of blend this out a little bit into that gray and into this gray. We don't want to have, just lightly blend it. And same here, just lightly blend that. Okay, and in here we're going to go a little darker, I think. Yeah. Get that blended. Just letting that show through somewhat. Letting it show through somewhat. My glass chimes out there are going crazy. It must be really windy today. Must be really windy. Okay, and I want straight out, just to kind of blend this in here a little bit. kind of really darken through here, so I want to blend that somewhat in there too. Okay, it's starting to shape up somewhat. All right, so I'm going to get some yellow, this yellow shade here, and I want to get more yellow out, which I have in a little pot too, because I had so much out last week, and I wanted to make sure I had enough. So, I want to make sure my brush is very clean. I'm going to go into white right here. That has to be white. And I want to do that right now. And because this is kind of a very transparent, this will work very well. Sort of like a nice little highlight through there. Okay. Then we're going to go into that orange. I mean, what yellow, I'm sorry. Not going into yellow. I mean, orange, I'm so mixed up. And we're going to make this stand out a little bit more here. Okay, I'll just blend that in a little bit with some of that glazing liquid here. I want to glaze that. Okay, glaze it up. Get more of the white. Kind of blend that around. So tomorrow I'm going to be filming, I hope to be filming a video on, I haven't done this for a while, so I'm hoping to be able to do it tomorrow. I'm planning, I should make this white, but I don't like that. I'm going to use the gray. Take 5, I'm going to do a Take 5 art challenge, and I'm hoping it turns out. I haven't done that for a while, so I'm just going to videotape it. I'm not going to go live with it. Okay, there is some of this gray. Look at this coming down here. Just a little bit to mix up in here. It's not a lot, just a touch with that orange. Some orange in through here too. I'm just blending. The background is really a hard part of this because there's so many colors in this, and just trying to do it without covering up everything that we did last time is kind of the challenge too. You know, you just don't want to mess up what you've done. So I'm going to get some green. This is actual green. This is a Artist Loft emerald green, and I think that's what I used in this little area. And, oh, maybe I could use the teal, because that'll kind of, that's what I should use. Yeah, bring that teal out. I like that shade. Bring it out nicely. Blend it. And there's a little bit up in here. It kind of just gets lighter in through there. Okay, so we're going to go over now with this gray. See if I can get this wet again. Oopsie. There we go. There we go. It's just a soppy wet. And I'm going to just go over some of this. Just a touch of it. Not much. Just kind of going over some of this here. Keep glazing, glazing, glazing until you don't see it anymore. Okay, and then it is so light through here. This is going to just blend out too. It's almost like where the flash bulbs must have hit when the picture was being taken, and it just is kind of fanning out here. We'll get more of that yellowish shade, which is this pretty, almost peachy shade. Just kind of going over this. Gets a little darker here. Darker through here. I'm trying to get a blurriness to this. It's that's why we're doing this kind of like a glaze on all this, so that it, you know, when we're finished, this will all like blend in. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Just all blends with everything. Okay, let's get some gray in there now. Okay, let that dry a bit. I'm going to rinse out my brush. Okay, so I'm going to go in through here with a little bit more peach. Because this is really peachy here. And then it gets lighter as we go up with a little bit of peach. Well, or red, yellow maybe. I don't know. I think yellow would be good there. Oops. So it gets a little bit of yellowish color. And through here. That's going to be a little bit white of white. I'm going to just kind of mix it right on the canvas here. Kind of bring that in. Because right in here, it's very light. Right in there. I don't want to get my but yet that yellow has to be in there without that peachy look. Kind of start blending that down. Okay. Add a little bit of water just to kind of mix that a little bit better. Then we'll get back to the gray again because the gray has to be on top of that. And this is the lighter gray. Just kind of blending it in there. Sally's here with me, spending time, because we haven't spent much time lately. This almost looks white. I think it should be a little darker, but right now we'll just go with it. I can blend some up here. It's a little darker. Here, even grab a little bit of the Payne's gray right off the brush there. Everybody must be doing things today because I'm not getting anybody on here. Maybe ending up finishing this next week. I'm not sure yet. What we'll be doing, I'm going to go a little bit darker here. I'm going to go into my Payne's gray, kind of like blend that a bit. Okay. Like my brush. Get that dark right in here. I want that a lot darker. There, that looks nice. Now see, it's starting to blend out a little bit better, and it's starting to show the way it should. More yellow in through there, so I'm gonna go into my peachy shade. Rinse my brush a little bit, kind of like blend that peachiness in here, but I don't want it to look like that's going in a circle, so I'm gonna rinse this out a little bit more. So now we can just kind of blend it through here. A little bit more turquoise. Kind of blend it. This is probably not the right brush to blend, but I can get a little bunny brush kind of thing just to blend, kind of smooth this out a bit. Okay, we'll get some more of that turquoise in there too. Definitely have to have that turquoise in there. Just makes it look so pretty. Okay. So I'm going to get my peach. I'm going to put some more in here. I don't like the muddiness, so I want to kind of get this out of there. Okay, and get my little blending brush. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. Now let's get some of that light in here. And a little bit of the darker gray, kind of just getting it in here. Kind of just go over that a little bit and blend it. Get all the lines out of here. Okay, get some more of that turquoise. Into that, and some in through here, just kind of blending it in there. This is the hard part. We'll be getting to the fun part soon. As soon as we get this part done, where it's looking a little smoother, we don't like all those lines in there. I'm just wondering, some of that glazing liquid here might help. Kind of just go over all this like that. So right in here is a little bit of light also, so I'm going to get some of my, I'm going to rinse this off because I don't want that gray in that. I want it bright, a bright yellow here, right in through here. It's a highlight. So we'll probably need to make a couple, because that's going to, like, a couple passes with that, because that's going to have to be taken care of. Okay, let's see if we can get this to be nice too. Okay, so it's kind of like coming out this way. Brush is a little rough. There. That's what we want. We want that to be blended very smooth. Smooth, smooth. Smooth sailing here. And now put some of that beautiful color that I mixed. This peachy shade. I'm going to go in here with that, and then I'm going to pick up some orange and mix that together. So I need some more out on my palette. Now I'm using that thick acrylic orange from Master's Touch. I'm going to mix that with some gray. Kind of see how that looks. That might be just what I'm looking for. Kind of darkening this up a little bit with the gray. wiping that off, going into my gray again. Kind of just going lightly over some of the edges here. Okay, and then getting my blending brush, wiping it off a little, just kind of blending some of this. Some of the bristles are coming out. Okay, let's see. Get a little bit more of this. I have that orange in there, so it's going to kind of let me get some more of the glazing liquid out. It's kind of gloppy. I think it's just what I needed to get this to just do a little light glaze over this area here. Just so that it looks more blended. I need that light to be in there, but I need it also blended. And we can just pull that over here. And it kind of reminds me of the way this painting is. I need a little light in through there though, but so we're going to get that. Okay. Add some glazing liquid to my dark. And kind of pull that in to that. I still need that to be a little bit darker, but we can forgive it for a minute. Yeah, that's looking good. Looking good. All right, so let's get this glazed in. A little bit of that. Just kind of glazing over it, kind of blending it all together. Okay, so I'm going to get some my yellow. I'm going to pull that out of my little cup and put it here. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that there? Okay, there we go. Adding some white. And adding some of my glazing liquid to this. Getting another paper towel. And I'm going to put that in through here. Look, I need that to come in here. A little bit more glazing liquid on my brush. Kind of glaze this down. Okay, let me get into this Payne's Gray again. I'm just not happy with the way this is going. I don't know if it's my brush. Probably it is my brush. Let's see. Let me see here. If I have a softer brush, maybe that'll work better. I think it might. Just kind of blend in this a little bit. I want to go this way, blending. We can get that a little darker after, I think. But this here has to be a little lighter. I just don't like that. So let's see if we can get that lighter. You know, sometimes it's a little bit more difficult to do what you're like looking for. And Payne's Gray has that bluish, here we go, shade, kind of like that makes it look almost green. There. Alright, now I need a little bit of white up here. Kind of right in here. So we'll just do that. Blend it a little bit. It's still giving me that gray, so I'm just going to let it go for now. There's also that little bit of lightness right in here. Okay. Things are looking a little dirtier than I expected. So, but things like that happen. Not every painting is perfect, you know. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to something different. I'm going to go back into my turquoise here. Okay. Kind of just get some of that in here. Again. Right in here. And I want to try to get it back into this also. So, I'll lighten this up a bit, brighten things up. Can just make little crisscross strokes. Kind of that helps to blend it a little bit better. And I need to get more of my turquoise out. Okay. All right. So let's get some more of that turquoise on our canvas where it was before. There we go. Just lightly putting it in again because I lost it. I lost all my beautiful turquoise, and I love, love, love turquoise. Or teal, whatever. This is better. Uh-oh. Somebody hit something. Okay. Blend it. Okay. Rinse. More paper towels. Have a slick of coffee. Oh yeah, that's starting to look much better. Much better. That's that orangish shade here, so we're going to kind of blend that in. Right in here. It's pretty, well, that's a little too light. Let's kind of blend it like this. And blend it into that gray. Blend it into this. Let's get that turquoise back on my brush. Blend that turquoise in. Blend some of that gray. Not doing too much. Just start using crisscross strokes and it'll blend nicely. Okay, little yellow. This will probably turn green here, but that's all right. Still has that yellowish color. That's what we want. And that yellow has to be very, very clean. I want that very clean. So I'm going to put white first. Right here. Blend it down into that orange. Blend it out. Pick up that gray now. I'm leaving that on there so that brightens that up a bit. And we'll go to light gray. Sorry that I keep knocking that. Well, I do think that I need the darker, little darker, just so it shows up. You want it to show up here. Clean brush. Clean brush. Some of that gray goes over that too. So, we're going to do that. Some of that gray in there. And Payne's gray. I need more of that. Yeah, it's probably going to be a three-parter because it's just like, okay. So I'm not sure. Not sure if I have any internet service right now either, because I don't have anybody in my class here. Well, people will watch it later. A lot of times that happens. People watch it in the evening hours. I want this to be a little darker down here. Blending it a little bit better here. Right now, I just want to kind of blend some of this here. And get some more of that orange in there so it's kind of bright too. We don't want to dull that down any. Don't want to dull down my orangey color. And now I'm going to go into my yellow. Kind of just add that here, brighten that up. Blend it down. No getting it dirty. Just blend it down into my orange. Okay, that looks pretty good now. Okay, getting that nice Payne's gray over. Getting some of that glazing liquid on there, just so I can blend it nice. This has to be straight over, like, get some more paper towels. I think so. Nice cleanness here, cleanly. Just kind of going over it here, making it look blurred. Gonna have to fix that still because it has to be dark on the edges. That gray is like all over this thing. A little white in there. Yeah, we could do it like that. Just kind of getting a little bit better blending. It's just very difficult to get this to be clean looking. That might all get fixed once we get the hearts in. Things will start to react differently too, as they should. Once again, I'm going over that and it's gonna get light, so we'll just let that rest a little bit. Even over here, I want to get that dark again here. Okay, get some of that yellow. And a little glazing liquid here to glaze over this. It comes down and through here a little bit. starting to like that a little bit better. I do want to get that a little brighter in here, though, because this is really pretty when it, you know, I just don't have the brushes that I guess I need for this. I don't know whether to use, well, we'll see. See, even artists struggle, and we do struggle sometimes. Sometimes things turn out just perfectly, and then other times, have little issues. Some little issues. This one's a little bit more than a little issue. Okay, so that's way too dark right there. Way too dark. So we're going to lighten it up. A little glaze. In my brush. We'll wait till that dries, because I just don't like the way that is. Ugh. And you can see every paint stroke, and I'm not sure if my brushes are bad. I mean, I use them so much. Let's try this one. A little brush. What will happen using a little teeny weeny brush? Maybe that's exactly what I need. I'm not sure. It may just let this dry here. Maybe just what I need. Alright, let's go up here. And a little bit point that I need. And maybe just that little bit of change in my brushes, I don't know, just might be the trick. And this brush here is just an old Royal soft grip. Very cheap, very cheap. So, add a little white to this. And blend the dark into the light. Dark into light. Okay. Now we got to get some of that gray in through here. I just don't have enough on my brush. Okay, so now this is sort of like a darkish reddish orangish shade. So I'm going to use my quinacridone magenta and get some of that in there with the orange. There's not a lot. It comes out a lot. And this quinacridone is Master's Touch. So let's mix some orange and just a touch of that. And some mixing glaze. Okay. And it's going to be dark, but again, we're going over it with some light. Gray. So a lighter gray, get some of that. transitioning into this. And we're going to get some of that yellow and transition even more. And this is going to be dark up in here. It's real bright, a lot of brightness, but it does blend better with this little brush, so that might be my little secret there. Let's get some more of that orange in here since this is working so well. I'll just get some with the glazing liquid. Get this like more orange down here. That yellow. Off my brush. Get this yellow nice and clean. Hopefully. Put yellow in there so it cleans it up a bit. Yellow. Get some white and just kind of blend this up into that. Brighten it up a little. We're just going to put this on, let it dry, and see what happens here. It is very orangish through here. I don't want to start pulling off paint either, because once you do that, see, it's starting to pull it. Okay, so we're just going to let that go for now. Wow. Okay, let's get the orange up in here. I mean the yellow. We'll get some yellow into this. Oh, too much water. Too much. So what I'm going to probably do is I'm going to go off now, offline, and then I'm just going to record this as a video and finish it up offline, since I'm having all these little stupid issues and I don't know what's causing it. My brush, or just, it's giving me a hard time today. Sometimes it happens, you know, you get a little bit of a issue. It's not uncommon, but I don't want you to see me struggling with this like this. I have to think about what's going on here, because it is just not working out here. I mean, not every time do I paint that everything just goes perfect. It doesn't happen all the time that it does, you know. It's not like a thing that happens all the time, but sometimes things just aren't clicking. And today it's one of those days. I don't know what I'm doing here, but no sense in you seeing this going on, right? No sense in it whatsoever. No sense in this going on for you guys. Although I think this brush is helping me a little bit more. I don't like using a tiny little brush. I'm not one for that, you know. So with this going on, it's just like, wow, what the heaven's sakes. And I don't know why that's happening. Okay, just gonna kind of like almost like a little sunbeam there. This is the part that's really bugging me. You know, it's just too dirty looking. And I don't like that. I don't like dirty looking pictures. But when you look at this picture, it is all gray like that. So, we'll clean this up. I just do not like it. And the more paint I put on, the dirtier it gets. So, just going to wipe it off a little bit. So I can see the original part of this. Maybe what I can do is put the base coat on here, let that dry, and then paint over it with the glaze. Since there is quite a bit going on here. And I know that I'm going to have to save my paints so that this looks decent. Now that just worked out real nice there, almost. Because that's what I'm trying to do, is just cover some of that up, like to make it look blurry. That worked out very well. This has to be pretty white in here, and then it gets haloed out into like a yellowish color. So I'll just go circular onto that. Sometimes it's hard to stop, you know. We're gonna stop now. So I appreciate you hanging in there with me. Sorry that I didn't get finished, but I see that there's 2 people watching, and one of them must be, I don't know who the other one is, who the other person, but apparently somebody joined in. And seeing me struggle is quite interesting, isn't it? I don't usually struggle with stuff, but for some reason this is just a little bit crazy for me. Sometimes things happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover my paints with some saran wrap. And I think what I'm going to do is just get this on here, because it looks like it wants to go. And then what happens with this, I don't know what's going to happen. Because once I put that gray on, I mean, I should get it out a little further here, because the gray kind of comes in. So let's just do that. Put this on here, and then we can put the glaze of gray. Just kind of blend this here into that gray area, so that when I do put the gray on, it'll cover it up. So I'm just going to add a little water to blend it out. Oh, Sally, you okay? She's having a dream. It could be because I'm tired. I mean, I'm not making excuses, but I was up till like 2 o'clock last night, working on my playlists. So, of this, some of that yellow, kind of make this look a little brighter, which I'm trying to do. There we go. That looks so much better. Blend this in here. Just go over it a little bit. And I could use some of that glazing liquid retarder, kind of just to smooth it a little bit. Some of this too. Yeah, this looks a little bit better too, you know, like it's not as muddy looking. See, that's what happens if you over blend. Sometimes that gets so muddy. Yeah, here we go again. It's going to be muddy again. Okay. I think I'm going to just stop now, and then we'll see you tomorrow, okay? Or the next day, whenever I can get this finished. I'm just going to do it offline. So I really appreciate you coming in, whoever has come in, and we'll work this offline, finish it up when I'm not under all that pressure to get things done, and hopefully that'll turn out a little bit better. A little bit better, huh? We'll hope so. Let's hope. Okay, till next time. We'll see ya. Bye. Okay. I had 8 people viewing me. Wow. And one comment, I had only said me. Ah! Gee whiz. Think I can get that to stop? Stop. Yeah.